Corpbiz.
Hello, my name is Nupur Raj. Welcome you to our YouTube channel Corpbiz. Today we will be giving you an overview of Forest Conservation Rules 2022. The Forest Conservation Rules 2022 were announced by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The Forest Conservation Rules have been enacted, including certain regulations present in the Forest Conservation Act of 1980. These regulations, which became effective in 2022, are covered by the Act of 1980, but they have undergone multiple revisions. Now we will first understand the Forest Conservation Act 1980 that specifies the procedure for seeking approval for the central government to address the loss of forest cover. The Forest Act permits the use of forest land for non-forest activities. Using forest land for infrastructure, industrial or purposes is one of these non-forest activities. Private parties must pay compensating afforestation levies and transfer additional land to appropriate forest agencies for afforestation under this requirement. Final authorization for the use of forest land will be granted once the compensatory afforestation requirement has been satisfied, and the size of the transferred land must be done in line with the regulations. From the standpoint of legal compliances, this could qualify as compensatory afforestation. Now we will have a look on environmental acts and policies. First is Indian Forest Policy. Second one is Forest Conservation Act 1980. Third is National Forest Policy 1988. Fourth is National Afforestation Program. Fifth is Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006. Now let's understand what is Forest Conservation Rules 2022. These rules forbid the cutting down of trees for non-forest uses without first receiving permission from the main level. The first procedure also includes getting the approval from the local wildlife authorities and forest rights holders. Such petitions may be rejected by the center or approved subject to clear limits. The final diversion order issued by the competent state government of UT, which permits the use of forest land for the planned purpose and transfer ownership of the property to user agency, marks the completion of the approval process for diverting forest land. First is formation of committees, second is compensatory afforestation, third allows private plantations, and fourth is no consent of Gram Sabha needed. And the fifth one is allows building in forests. Now we will see provisions of Forest Conservation Rules 2022. Constitutional provisions regarding forest conservation are as follows. First is forest and the protection of birds, wild animals were transferred from the state to the concurrent list, along with education, weights and measures and the administration of justice by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. Second is Article 48A of the Directive Principles of the State Policy requires the state to maintain the nation's forest, wildlife and protect and develop the environment. Third is according to Article 51A(g) of the Constitution, every citizen must preserve and enhance the environment, especially forest and wildlife. Let's see the environmental compliance. Environmental compliance is critical component because it ensures that conservation activities are carried out in a manner that protects and preserves the environment. Some of the key areas of environmental compliances are environmental impact assessment, permits and regulations, monitoring and reporting. Now we will check what challenges to the rules. The challenges to the rules are as follows. First is consent clause. The proposal in the new rules to eliminate the consent clause for diversifying forest for other uses has raised concerns. According to NCST, the FCA 2022 eliminated the requirement to get the Gram Panchayat's permission before stage 1. Clearance allowing this procedure to be completed after stage 2. Second is violation of rights. Project proponent who have received only partial clearance will seek state and union territory administration for a diversion as soon as possible, negatively affecting the FRA's procedure for recognizing rights. Third is FRA non-compliance. According to the Commission, out of the 128 applications for forest diversions for mining, between 2009 and 2018. 74 were approved at stage 2 and 46 at stage 1, and none of the rejections were due to FRA non-compliance. Such violation will now rise because of the new regulations. Fourth is resettlement. The demands of the inhabitants for relocation will be disregarded after forest clearance is granted. It is unclear whether India is prepared to come up with practical solution in light of the notification of the Forest Conservation Rules 2022, particularly the rules about compensatory afforestation, or if India will use the rules as a prevention measures to get around the intent of the Forest Conservation Act 1980 to grant forest clearances. The burden of maintaining the rights of scheduled tribes to traditional forest lands would also fall on the shoulders of the state governments under these laws. So because the state government will not be required to get the approval of Adivasis and many other tribes, the union government passed the regulations because it felt a need to further streamline the forest clearance process by putting in place effective practices and processes, and getting rid of things that made request for authorization under the Forest Act very difficult to complete. It is recommended that if a person who is looking for environmental clearance and approval should seek for expert advice or consultation to get a hassle-free experience in the extensive process. So if you are looking for the assistance of certified consultants that can help you with the report or the certificate, you can connect with our experts at Corpbiz with the details below. We help our clients with all environmental compliances related to their projects. Please like and share if you found this information useful. You can also subscribe to our channel and visit our website for the detailed information on the topic. Thank you for watching.